Hello and welcome to the stock market analysis. Let's continue to take a look at Microstrategy, MSTR. Now the stock has tried to move up yesterday, but eventually it traded back down to form a topping tail. So the topping tail in the context of a downtrend can be a continuation pattern, which means it can trade lower if it falls below yesterday's low. Now before I continue, do grab a copy of the beginner's guide to the stock market stages. You can find the link in this description below. Now let's take a look at the 5-minute chart and see what happened yesterday. The stock traded sideways a bit during this opening, and eventually along with the market, I think it went up. That means you can see that it traded sideways here, right? And then it broke out of this consolidation, and then it met a supply area, which is the resistance. So sometimes you need to be careful throughout the end of the day as the stock hits a prior high area, supply will come, and then it declined. So this action of it breaking out and moving back down forms the topping tail in the daily chart, which you can see here. This topping tail. So is this bullish or bearish? Now, when a stock forms a topping tail in the daily chart in the context of a downtrend, a movement down, it can be bearish if the stock opens below here today and continues trading lower. This is a signal that tells us that, hey, the stock is rejecting the move higher and there is weakness in the stock. And you can see that it is below the 5-minute 200 MA. That's why you should be careful and not trade it on the long side. Usually do not trade stocks in the long side when it's below the 5-minute 200 MA. And don't hold it overnight either. Now take a look at the 60-minute chart. You can see that the stock actually is making lower lows and lower highs. This is a sign of a downtrend in the 60-minute chart, and you can see that it has not traded above this uptrend line. Once it broke below this uptrend line, there was a sell-off, and you can see that it is still below the 20 MA, below the 50 MA, and below the declining 200 MA. It is a 60-minute chart. All three moving averages are declining, and this hints to us of weaknesses ahead. So do not long this stock unless it goes back above the 20 MA or the 50 MA, depending on how conservative you are. And usually if the stock is below the 200 MA, I advise not to touch this stock on the long side or hold it overnight. The nice move up was when it was above the 200 MA. These are the times where you can buy the dips and breakouts, but you can see now it's curving down, so you have to be patient, and those of you who want to short, you can short, but if you're thinking of long the stock, then it's not a very good idea to long the stock. Now let's take a look at the seasonality chart of MSTR. For those of you who do not know, it's always a good idea to look at how it performed every month. You can go to stockcharts.com, seasonality, and look at the seasonality. For the past 5 years, April wasn't a good month, closed 40% higher most of the time. And in May, zero chance of it closing higher than it opened. This data from 2020 to 2023, 2024 hasn't finished yet, and in May it's not a very good month for the stock with an average loss of 13.4%. In June, we have a 50% chance of it closing higher with an average gain of 3%, but in July, 75% chance of it closing higher with an average gain of 25.2%. So with that in mind, you have to be careful, especially when it's below the daily 20 MA. Might not be a good month for MicroStrategy. And as long as it's below the 20 MA, you might see it continue to drop to this next support area here. And also it might meet the 200 MA. So next support area is here. You might also meet it at the 200 MA. And we can actually take a measured move. This is a bearish flag. You take the measured move, project it downwards. You can get the target of around here. It is very possible. All right, and you might also say that it could be a reverse cup with handle. You know, depends on how you see it. Now, weekly chart, there is some support here. All right, there is support here, and what you want to see is that the stock manages to find support here, have a bullish reversal pattern in the 60-minute chart, and then you see whether you can buy the stock around here. But at this moment, it's not very healthy, and you can see there was large red bars, a topping tail even in the weekly chart. When the stock dropped below the lows of the topping tail, you can see the damage being done. So that is something for us to take note of. So you have to be really careful with this stock at this moment. Now, also let's go and take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin has already dropped below support. This was the support area, right? Had a bearish cross with a 20 MA cross below the 50 MA, breaking below support here, and if it continues to move down, you might see the next support area here where it might reach, and it's also where it might hit the 200 MA. So in the 60-minute chart, you can see Bitcoin is below the declining 200 MA, below the declining 50 MA, and if it continues to drop below this area, we might see more selling in Bitcoin, and that might hurt Microstrategy. So I do hope that this analysis is helpful. So, and I'll see you in the next one.